we go. All right, there's a lot to talk about. Like, pretty much, should we start with the multiverse, the whole rumors,
Let's
the
just say multiverse.
the whole thing that's going on? I mean, again, this rumors. This is not us confirming anything. Uh, I don't know the whole thing with Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds. I really don't believe that at all. I mean, that could work on a multiverse type way, but to have the same character on a Zack Snyder movie, that would not work. Doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, at least my opinion. What about you?
No, I don't think either were because I don't think that I don't know if Ryan Reynolds is confirmed as Green Lantern, but I just know he just really did not like about playing Green Lantern because due to, what happened to 2011 to happen. I mean,
Hmm.
remember what happened? I mean, Deadpool, he kind of made fun of it saying he doesn't want to be like all adapt.
Yeah, yeah. Like it again. It will probably work if they're trying to do something separately, But again, the Green Lantern movie that came out with him, that doesn't have any type of connection with the Snyderverse at all. So if he has a cameo in the Snyder Cut, it would not be as Green Lantern. It will be just him there, because him as Hal Jordan in the Snyderverse would not make any sense whatsoever. And that's not the type of tone that Snyder does anyway. So you know, just from those two things, it doesn't make any sense. So to me, that's a huge no. That's just a fake rumor. I don't know why even bother, talk about how people just brought it up and all these articles making it a thing like it's supposed to happen. Again, if it happens, it's not gonna happen in the Snyder Cut. It's gonna happen somewhere else.
Yeah, and plus, it's the multiverse, but still, I don't know if, because like you said, I don't think it wouldn't work. But also, note to self, their Amanda Waller isn't the same. They're both different,
Exactly.
different
That's
actresses.
a very good point because I mean you are 100% right about that. Because I just seen the movie the other day on HBO Max, and I even forgot that Amanda was in that movie because it was played by a different person. So yeah, that's a great point right there. Again, if he shows up in the multiverse, that makes sense. But in the Snyderverse, it's not gonna happen.
No, and one thing, speaking of Snyderverse, I always, they always should have, for the Snyderverse, is what's his face, Dean Morgan for the Batman role as he's Thomas Wayne Batman.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I was gonna talk about. Now that we're talking about the whole multiverse, that connects more to Flashpoint because Flashpoint is a big deal when it comes to the multiverse and all that, especially with the rumors of what they're gonna do. It makes a lot of sense. I really do believe that the '89 Batman is gonna show up in Flashpoint, but it's not what people are saying. Um, these articles are saying like he's supposed to replace Thomas Wayne, Jeffrey D. Morgan, and that's not the case at all because people gotta understand, '89 Batman is Bruce Wayne. It's not Thomas Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't make any sense. How do people bring that up? How do you get that information?
I don't know, dude, but the truth is, it's like bloggers word saying trying to twist everything so they get clicks and
It's Bruce
likes.
Wayne. It's a
He's
different
a different.
it's a different Earth Bruce Wayne, but he's still playing Bruce Wayne. It's not Thomas Wayne. It's two different characters. He's playing Bruce. He's not playing the father. And I mean, don't get me wrong. If they're doing the whole Flashpoint and he's playing Bruce from '89. In a different Earth that Flash will show up. I would love that. I would love that a lot because I mean I love me some '89 Batman and Batman Returns, and to me that would be a great setup to Batman Beyond if they want to go that way with that Batman. How do you take that?
I mean, I would just take it like a way that Michael Keaton is just gonna be a cameo scene of his own way to set up for the Batman Beyond film.
Exactly.
And for Jeff Dean Morgan, he should be in Flashpoint because one, Flash is seeing Bruce Wayne get killed is his consequences, and this is what happens when he turned everything into a new change, and he's the one that.
And again, Zack Snyder was really setting that up so well. People gotta understand the casting when it comes to Zack Snyder. He, Jeffrey D. Morgan got casted to play Thomas Wayne for that same reason. People always want to start BS like Snyder didn't have a plan, like he don't know what he was doing. And to be honest, Snyder was the only one with the plan, back when he did Man of Steel and especially Batman v Superman. He was setting up a whole universe, around the whole Justice League, and that's the reason why he casted the people that he did.
Yeah, not to mention is that he wanted to have like its own perspective of being its own, multiple crises they're going to be in soon. Not just be like, solo films. Like currently last year and this year, we had like 3 solo films. We had like two to three solo films that did not build up anything for new crisis or new things that's going to happen.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, okay. What's so dumb about, about the CW with Superman being with Lois and his kid is that one, that's like the dumb version. Why would you do that kind of way? Like, for example, okay, when Tyler Superman and his wife version, Lois, had a shift for a baby size, it doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? But I'm pretty sure Zack Snyder would do the convergence storyline because one, it's a reflection of Man of Steel, and second is that Jeff Dean Morgan's Batman might come back again, not permanently dead, but apparently he'd be back soon for a trilogy set for himself.
That's a good point because I mean, when it comes to the CW Superman, that wasn't really set up. It wasn't set up at all. Like he just showed up out of nowhere, right? And did they ever really explain him having a baby and all that? Like he just everything was already there, It was so rushed, and then they want to make a show out of all that. Like when all that stuff was already rushed, so what's the point of even making a show? What are you gonna go back and trying to explain all that crap? What's the point? And again, I don't know. That's not just a Superman, That's not my Superman. So again,
not to mention how about the Superman series is just gonna wreak bunch of like I don't know haters who want and needs to be like instead of
it's just people being stuck in Superman 78. People stuck in the past. They need to move on, stop being stuck. There's so many different versions of Superman, especially by now with comics and all that.
Not to mention is that the red underwear is just not working today. It's just not even
working. It will
not
work. It will not work. Not today. Not in a live action movie. It will not work.
Not to mention is that Tyler's belt is just it's not gonna his suit design is just it feels like cheaply made like the designer just did it already and didn't work enough for great details.
Yeah. So going back to Jeffrey D. Morgan, as Thomas Wayne, do you watch Comic Book Marks? Do you follow them? Do you watch their videos?
I sometimes watch their video. I haven't watched their videos, but I've been reading their tweets.
Yeah, because I mean, for one of their latest videos, they bring up a good point about, Thomas Wayne from Batman v Superman. How the movie begins and he's about to throw a punch.
Oh, that's what I thought because it looks like somehow Thomas Wayne will throw a punch against somebody.
And that's when Bruce Wayne gets killed. That was set up perfectly. And pretty much,
Martha Wayne?
Comic Book Mar was the one that kind of made me notice that. I'm like, oh crap, because there was a lot of people talking crap when BBS came out, like, oh, Thomas Wayne would not do that. Why would he try to throw a punch when somebody has a gun? But in a different universe, Thomas Wayne's supposed to land that punch, and that's what gets Bruce Wayne killed. And that's where Flashpoint comes in. That's just a great a great point right there of how Snyder was setting this up. If anything, Snyder probably already has that scene differently. Like he probably made that scene the way it is in BBS, and while he was doing that scene back then, he did the one where Thomas Wayne lands the punch. Just think about
that. That is just mind blowing. It is insane, and also like where, like you said, he's the reason why his son got killed, and he's the main, and also Martha just became the Joker. And who does not want to see Martha Wayne as the Joker or Thomas Wayne as the Batman in an alternate timeline? And also
yeah.
And one thing you don't think we want of a live action Flashpoint is that we want to be great enough that we want to see like a 3-hour version of the movie instead of how CW just ruined it all for 50 minutes. Like they just wasted the hype
that's
for
a good
no
point.
reason.
That's a very good point. Flashpoint needs to be a long movie. It should be a long movie. Because there's a lot, there's a lot to explain. At the same time, you have Flash origin in Flashpoint. It's like that right there should be like the first half an hour to almost an hour. Just pretty much introducing Flash and just telling his backstory, and that's how he's trying to save his mom and all that, and that's how the whole Flashpoint happens. So again, Flashpoint hopefully it's a long movie because it needs to be. DC needs to go back to making longer movies anyway. They need to stop doing that whole 2-hour
thing. Nothing under 2 hours or at 2 hours, dude. It's just at one. It's like, okay, imagine you make, imagine you make, Death Metal or Superman for Tomorrow, or the Death of the Family, or any film that has great storyline. You can't just make it like short.
Or sometimes it probably not even one movie's not enough either. I mean, like
3 hours and 15 minutes.
It has to be more than 2 hours at least. Maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes at least. They can do a lot with that at least. But 2 hours or less is not enough time. And there's some stories that need more than one movie. It's like, for example, to me, Civil War and Age of Ultron didn't work because that should have been like 3 movies each. That should have been like a trilogy, or at least 2 movies each. Civil War for one movie and Age of Ultron does not work for one movie. There's too much to tell for that story, especially when you take it from comics. But again, that's a different story.
Yeah, I can see the point about the reason why Age of Ultron and Civil War didn't do well. And it's like you'd rather have, this kind of 2-parter way instead of like just a one whole film to be over 2 hours.
Civil War is a 10 comic story. It's a lot. And to make that into a one movie, to me, that's why, since Age of Ultron, I was like, when they said it was gonna be one movie, I'm like, that's not gonna work, because Age of Ultron is a huge story, and that's why it didn't work.
I can see that.
I've been having problems. I mean, I've been trying to look like, I'm starting to read New Gods. I'm trying to look for like origins when it comes to Darkseid, and apparently that's very hard to come by.
I only know there's only one comic book of Darkseid that has his origin, but it's been.
But it's not even, and it's not even one of his comics, I believe.
No.
It's like, I think it's like a new 52 comic for somebody else.
Yes, I was gonna tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to tell you there is during the New 52 era, there was one comic book where it has, remember the DC villains had their 3D hologram
Yeah,
during the early 2010s. They had Darkseid's origin about like every comic book character's DC villains characters. They had those, and also I believe that's where Uxas came from, the name.
and that was the comic that they show him as like a farmer or something, right? Because I
Yes, it
believe
was that.
I believe that's like the only comic. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, to be honest, with this whole Snyder cut happening and all that, I think somebody should really jump on that and make a real, a whole comic when it comes to Darkseid. Because I got like 3 books, and I don't think none of these books have anything when it comes to his origin. And I'm like, holy crap! That's kind of like, it's a little weird to me because I just really found out about I knew about Darkseid for forever, but now that I'm wanna look about his whole history, how he became Darkseid, his motivation and all that. Apparently, that's very hard to come by. Like they don't really have a story when it comes to that. Because I bought all these books and he's already Darkseid. He's not Usis or nothing like that.
It's like there just no enough materials for him at all. It's just like he's just been evil at the first place.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not wrong. I thought I'm like, I think I'm not looking, for the right information, but I apparently I'm right about that. There's not really enough information when it comes to Darkseid. Because I even got this one, the New 52, Volume 1, and this is literally pretty much Justice League War, from the animated movie. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get any information when it comes to Darkseid about that. He's already Darkseid. And again, I started reading New Gods, really expecting a whole origin, and he's already Darkseid in that too. And I'm like, oh well, great. That doesn't help. I know the comic book shop that I go to, they really recommended me to read Final Crisis, so I gotta start on that too. Any comics would you recommend when it comes to Darkseid? Again, I'm just looking for like more of his backstory and stuff like that, but there's not really much.
I think they should, talk about more about Darkseid's, past and why was he all evil at first. Maybe explain about his home planet and the reason how he made, Apocalypse as his own image.
Exactly, because he literally, I would have thought New Gods would have been all about that, because he's one of the New Gods. So it's like somebody should really jump on that now that I found out, and really should make a newer version of New Gods or something like that, but have origins for all these new people.
Yep.
That's a very, that's money to be made. Like, how would you slack on that, especially with the Snyder Cut coming out? Somebody really should jump on that, to be honest.
Yep, they all should.
Everybody knows Darkseid, but nobody really knows his backstory. Like, he's just evil, he's from Apocalypse. That's all you really know about Darkseid, most of the people, at least.
They just use him as a side plot, and just use him as a plot device, but doesn't even talk about, about his origins. They just think he's just, I don't know, evil and stuff. He's just pure evil, but not even explain how the hell he got, how his child made him became like that. We have like so many Joker stories, but not enough Darkseid.
It's insane. Who really came first? Thanos or Darkseid? Or were they like very similar times?
It was Darkseid first, then Thanos.
So how did they become so almost the same when it comes to villains? At least when it comes to that, I think the difference is like Darkseid was, if I'm not mistaken, because again, it's a little hard to get origins when it comes to Darkseid. But he was kind of like a farmer before, right? And it's not like
Yeah.
Thanos became a farmer after he already won. Pretty much. I think that's pretty much how they flip those stories. But again, I mean, we all know. Again, this is not a DC versus Marvel thing. I don't want people to think that, but we all know when it comes to a lot of stuff,
No.
DC came first with a lot of, they came first with a lot of the characters, and Marvel then kind of copy a lot of characters from DC. Again, this is not a competition or nothing like that. I'm just saying, if you do your research, you wouldn't realize a lot of the heroes, a lot of these characters came first from DC.
Yeah. And one thing is that they never, I was wondering, you think they were gonna show, Darkseid's, the daughter of Darkseid in the film? Because remember there was a picture of the cast and I forgot what was her name.
She's
something.
Let me look for her name. She was in the Mummy, the remake of the Mummy. A very pretty actress, but let me look for her name. And that's the rumor. I mean, that's the rumor that she's supposed to be, daughter of Darkseid. Because I mean, why would she be hanging out with the whole cast of Justice League?
Possibly she's been the Darkseid's daughter.
Yeah. Let me look this up. It's either that or some people are saying Kara, but I don't really see her playing Kara.
How is she Kara when her skin is just different? I mean, how is she, Kara when she's not similar to, Kal-El's Jean style there?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of was explained that, but I don't really see. Again, I mean, who knows? But I don't see really Snyder casting her as Kara.
Possibly Darkseid's daughter from the comics.
Sofia Botella, is that her name? Is that how you say it?
Yes, her, Sophia.
Yeah. Again, she's a pretty underrated actress, in my opinion. You haven't really seen her. I think the first movie I got to see her was in Kingsman, the first one. That was the first movie I got to see her in. But I haven't really seen her in much after that. Again, it's, I mean, I think somebody just asked Snyder the other day, like, did you already keep too much when it comes to Justice League? And pretty much he replied, well, like, you guys haven't seen nothing. So it's like, it's like we think we know his movie, but we don't know anything about his movie, and that just goes back to my whole theory of Snyder filming all those scenes twice, all the way back in 2016, because he already knew the studio they were gonna mess up his movie anyway. So he wanted to make sure that he was gonna lock his scenes that he really wanted, just in case he would have got, to get his movie release.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of secrets we don't know anything about the Snyder Cut. The main, Snyder Cut. We know that you're part of this, but not the whole thing of it.
I don't think we haven't seen. I mean, even though he did share all the pictures he has shared is like a brand new movie already, because we didn't get to see none of that at all. But besides that, it's like the main thing, I think, to me, it's like we might know most of the thing that I think in my opinion, I think we know like the second act, like the middle of the movie. I think that's like the main thing we have seen the most. But when it comes to like the third act, we don't know shit about the ending of this movie, the last third act, and the beginning. To me, I think he shared most like the middle of that. But the beginning and end, we don't really know nothing about that. Because to be honest, we don't really know how this movie is gonna begin, and we don't really know about the third act. Because I mean, the third act in Justice League, that was the messiest part of the movie. You know, when they released that, whatever you want to call that in 2017, that thing was a hot
Yeah,
mess.
yeah, it was, dude. I mean, we never seen like the whole film of it. Like we never seen the Martians. What else? We didn't never seen Steppenwolf's manipulation, and we never seen the real
The real
resurrection of
tone,
Superman
the
at
real
all.
dialogue. Um, this is literally, people don't understand. People are still asking for a Superman movie, but this is gonna be a Superman movie. You know, this is still a brand new Superman movie that was never released. And like I've been saying for this whole time, we need this movie to move forward with this Superman. You
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
because and again, that I think that's one of the reasons why they, you know, out of many reasons, I think that's one of them of why this movie needs to be released, and that's why it's being released. Because
yeah,
there's no way, with the movie that came out, there's no way they can move on with that because it doesn't make any
like
sense.
yeah, it doesn't make sense to how is Lois and Clark's relationship just didn't level up in part 3 of Justice League? How did that not even level up when he didn't propose her? He didn't, there was no challenge for their relationship. And also, what was the point? And also, what was the thing about Lois, overcoming? What was Lois's emotional, emotional struggle of her husband, her future husband,
Because I think
and
that's
and
supposed
sec
to be a huge take in the movie. Like what you're saying, I believe there's supposed to be maybe a lot of scenes with Lois, going through this whole thing, how she lost Superman and all that stuff. That's something, the way they really um, did the characters so wrong in that movie, that they got released. Like none of these characters were the characters that we know and love, and that's why this movie needs to be released for them to move forward with these characters, because it just
yeah,
doesn't work with what we got now. It doesn't work at all.
yeah, it doesn't even work, dude. It's like, why the hell? And when did Superman meet that cringe-worthy beginning? Like, I'm pretty sure Man of Steel and BVS in some prequel
They
comics
were
didn't
they
have
were
any
they
of
were
it.
trying to rush the whole arc when it comes to Superman. They were really trying to get all this old audience, from Superman 78 to be like, oh, that's the Superman I know. Yeah, okay. Um, sure, you might want to say that, but those fake fans still didn't show up for Justice League because that still didn't make no money. That's the same thing with,
Yes,
and it
dude.
goes back to Superman Returns. Look at the
Yes,
box office for Superman Returns.
dude.
Still didn't make no money. So where are all these fake fans that want to go back to Superman 78? But when they do that, they don't show up. You know.
Yeah, I get that point, dude. It's like here I'm like looking at the same fans who said, do 1978 Superman. And apparently when the CW makes that series, the Superman and Lois, I cannot even imagine the low numbers it's gonna get. I mean, I'm not crapping it up. It's just that I'm proving a point that
I mean,
these
and the only if it,
so-called fans.
yeah, and again, if it gets a good number, it's because they already have a fan base for the CW. But again, the point of this is like there's supposed to be a fan base to Superman 78, but when it comes to the big screen, it's not working anymore because again, they tried doing that with Superman Returns. Nobody show up for that movie. That movie has a horrible box office,
Not to mention
So
how
it's like,
much.
why do people want to do that again if it didn't work? I believe, uh, I think AT&T is the one really doing the job. They're doing the work that needs to really be done. They, money talks to them, and they realize that this whole BS that the Warner Brothers started doing with like Birds of Prey, Shazam, Justice League, That didn't work. You know, they didn't brought them money. So they know they have to go back to what was really making money.
You know, I mean,
it's just common sense.
They're not going to be wasting, you know, time on some stupidity on like pathetic, you know, like kiddie live action films. I mean, pretty much copying, you know, MCU or going to 1978 stuff is not going to work. And then, and second of all, is that we rather have, you know, good storytelling, not just, I don't know, like,
It's quality. It's why, you know, DC was always more known for quality. You know, DC would not work with the MCU formula. You know, you know, of course you're gonna get the MCU fanboys that will say the MCU is quality, but it's really not. You know, again, you know, love it or hate it, you know, whoever will watch this video, Man of Steel, BBS, The Dark Knight, 3 movies. Those 3 movies, the whole MCU cannot touch.
No,
when it comes to quality, you know, they gotta look at it this way. When it comes to quality, even if you hate those 3 movies or whatever, we're talking about quality here. The MCU doesn't touch those movies when it comes to quality.
No.
At all. No movie whatsoever.
They don't even touch those films at all.
No, not even one movie in the MCU comes close when it comes to quality.
You know, one thing is that if these people say there is no color on those 3 films, I'm like this.
They're colorblind,
if you want color, if you want color, why don't you go see Teletubbies instead? I mean, we see
I mean, you seen what they did with freaking Justice League? They turned that movie into a freaking Crayola. You know, that thing looks so weird looking. The colors are just too much, and then they messed up the whole color palette because of that.
Yeah, it's like where did all this, you know, why is everything turned into like a salsa color? Like
why was everything so orange? Like,
and why is everybody's skin turning all pinkish? Like,
yeah, everybody looks like, you know, everybody looks orange in that movie. Like, and you can even tell they're when they did reshoots to Lois Lane, because she has like a wig, like she has some type of fake hair on her scenes, and her hair looks so fake. Like, again, I don't understand how they released that movie in theaters, because that was embarrassing, man. Very embarrassing.
Not to mention
a Justice League movie to do that and release that, that's embarrassing. And that's, you know, another reason why we were fighting for so long for Zack Snyder Justice League, because we know his quality, we know his work. You know, again, you can love or hate Zack Snyder, but you gotta admit he knows quality.
Yes, man, he does know how to make quality films and quality storytelling. Instead of, you know, films to be like, you know, films to be like some kind of like, to be like, you know, retold over and over. He's retelling classic films that were told, but apparently they're not being retold in old films.
It's a modern, in a modern way, you know. You know, the best thing he ever did was putting these characters into the real world, you know. Even though, you know, these characters will never be in this world because it's, you know, the comics, you know, they're still fantasy. But when it comes to Superman, I mean, Superman always had comics like that, you know, him being an immigrant, an alien, you know, he's an alien, he's from a different planet.
Yeah, not to mention
how much does, you know, go ahead.
Not to mention he's been, you know, he doesn't even save kittens. He saved a lot of, you know, against the KK men who are trying to kill immigrants, and what else? And he's been, you know, facing against racism, evil men, and also he does, you know, no matter what kind of, you know, shitty deeds he did, these evil men, they don't deserve to die. He just, you know, hangs them up, you know, to let, you know, the cops take care of them. Even
like
though
they have art of, like, you know, I don't know if it's from a comic or it's a fan made art. Not really sure, but like, you know, they show Superman like breaking down a wall and all that stuff. Like, imagine, that right there is a movie for Superman. But again,
Oh, yeah, it's good.
again, they have to release Zack Snyder Justice League first, and then they can go from there. Because again, this is a connection after Batman v Superman, and obviously Superman is still dead, so you can move on when Superman is still dead because Justice League, doesn't count the movie that they released.
I call it Justice League, not Justice League.
Yeah,
It's called Yeah, Justice doesn't easily connect anywhere. It's just like, how should I say it? A bizarro god. And
yeah.
also, the real Superman, he would not be some kind of moronic man who says that. He'd be more, more down to earth, and he, really know how it felt like to be an immigrant, a person who's out of,
And again,
out
don't
of
get me
place.
wrong. That could be, he could turn into a little bit more like that, but down the road, he's not there yet to be that Superman people really want him to be. He's not there yet. It will make more sense later on. Not now. That's the thing with the MCU fanboys and all that. They just want, they it's crazy because these same people said that Zack Snyder was rushing this whole universe with Batman v Superman, but at the same time, they're the ones that want to rush Superman to be Superman overnight. So that doesn't make any sense because Zack Snyder was doing a whole 5, story arc surround, pretty much around this whole the league, but especially Superman. Superman was still the main one around this universe because again, Man of Steel was the beginning of this story. This is still all a Superman story, and that's why Justice League needs to come out because this is mainly his story.
Yeah, and also about, his evolution. Like, for starters, he was a boy at the Man of Steel, but then to a teenager, then to a young adult, but now a full man now.
Exactly. That's a great point. People don't see that. Like he was still, he wasn't really an adult in Man of Steel. People don't really see that. They think he was already a big man. He was Superman. No, he was still there. Like he was in the beginning. Of getting he didn't even had a real job yet. And that's how Man of Steel ends by him getting the Daily Planet job. That's pretty much his real job. He never really got that yet in Man of Steel.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, during Man of Steel, he had like multiple jobs, not like a permanent jobs. He just moved. He moved every place to place, and he
Exactly.
never.
That's just like a person growing up. But that's what you do growing up. You get little jobs here and there. People need to understand that Man of Steel is an origin for Kal-El, for Clark. In a way, you don't even have to. You should not really even see it as a Superman movie because it's not. It's an origin for the character.
Yeah, it is, and also for Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, they're all evolution to have Superman to be his full potential, and also imagine one day Superman's gonna go with the Convergence storyline, and apparently he has to save his making sure that him and his wife and baby boy survives. And also, that would be a good idea for an evolution of Superman because one, he has been he was a man at the from the beginning, but then later he's a husband, a married man, but then one day he's gonna be a father soon to a baby boy. He's gonna
You
get when he
got you got a
loses
great
Krypton.
you have an amazing point there because I never really even thought about that. It's pretty much what I'm getting from what you're saying is the way Zack was gonna tell his story was pretty much taking his time because it's like Superman having a kid would not make sense for him to have a kid yet because this Superman is still not ready for this world and the world's still not ready for this Superman. He needs to make sure first that this world is ready for him before even having a child. And we all know that's where Zack Snyder was going. You know, at least for I believe it was the last movie of his 5 story arc. That's when he was gonna have a baby. You know, and that makes a lot of sense
And
because
I'm
it's like, how the hell
and
will he have a baby now? Like, you know, it doesn't make any sense because this world's not even ready for him. Imagine him having a kid. That would be insane.
yeah, not to mention is that if you're gonna have a kid, it should be something from your own perspective, not by Shazam. Just did it like some kind of like '90s TV movie they do. Like they don't.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. That
it's not
movie
like they're.
was. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not like it's not like Zack Snyder got an inspiration of how they could get not by Shazam 2 to these sitcom way. No, it should
Yeah,
be more like their
it's
own evolution.
that was my problem with Shazam. It's like the tone for that movie is like a roller coaster. It's everywhere.
Yeah,
It doesn't know where it wants to be. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like when they have the scenes and all that. Like they're so creepy looking. You know, they're scary and all that. Like the movie has some dark moments, but then they turn around with a comedy thing. Like I don't know, where it's like, all right, do you want to be this or you want to be that? Like you need to pick which one you want to be. That's my
yeah,
problem with Shazam.
yeah. That's like a real problem with Team Shazam. It feels like you're just going to go into some dark moment, but then later you're just going to go to downhill to a '90s sitcom.
Yeah, I think the problem with
But
this with
yeah,
this the problem with this Shazam, I think is like they were picking from many different eras and many different comics. You know, it's like they needed to sit down and pick just one main comic to go from there. You know, because I mean I can tell you right now what the main comics of Zack Snyder when it comes to Superman was like Birthright, um,
Earth
Year
One.
Earth One, and even some of the I think Superman for Tomorrow. You know, uh, but when it comes to Shazam, I don't even know what to tell you. I think it's like almost everything. It's just a mixed bag. You know.
Mixed bag, yeah, it does. And also, okay, for Superman having a kid, okay, the reason you would have him have a kid is that it represents he's gonna, raise the child of his own that, okay, his biological parents may have been, been, left behind and he was sent away. But with him and Lois, they're not gonna do the same way. They're just gonna be with him and live a new house. I mean, that's like a perspective saying, I don't belong anywhere without you. I don't belong without anywhere, but with you, I do belong. That's like, no matter what kind of multiverse they'll be at, they're gonna still be together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And
mean,
again,
if you read Superman, Superman, Lois and Clark storyline from Dan Jurgens and Convergence, you see how that's a perspective of Man of Steel. That would have been like a great story plot for that.
yeah, yeah. I just again like when I see and this is not because I don't get me wrong, I love Superman 78, but again that doesn't work for this era. That was a great movie for the time that it came. But there's one thing that really annoys me is when you like lately I've been looking for more Superman comics, but I see some of these comics that they're really trying to turn these comics into Superman 78, like older. There's a lot of old comics out there, like they have Superman looking just like the actor that Christopher Reeve, and they have the whole uh, fortress with the whole crystals and all that. It's like you're really making a Superman comic based on a movie, you know, because literally Superman. What's the title of Superman 78? Superman the movie, and that's what I tell people. The title is telling you right there that sure it is a Superman movie, but it's just a movie. You know, it's a movie version for Superman. You know, if that makes sense. Man of Steel is not that. Man of Steel is I know it's still a movie, but it's closer to comics when it comes to Superman. You know, they really go back of really, you know, how do you say, explaining the story of, you know, Krypton and you know, Kal-El and all that stuff. So again, you know, I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense to you, but you know, my point is that Superman 78 is just a movie version for Superman, not really that close to comics and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not even close at all. It's just its own adaptations. But
And
Man of Steel
it just drives me crazy because people really believe that they know Superman from just that movie, and that's a movie version for Superman. That's not Superman based on really, you know, really based on comics. To be honest, it's just a movie version. People really need to
just
look at it that way. Maybe that's why they didn't, you know, the same people didn't like Man of Steel, because honestly, they didn't really knew Superman. They really didn't. You know, they really thought they knew Superman, but then they look at Man of Steel. It's like, huh? This is not Superman. You know, they saying that because they really thought they knew the character, but they didn't at all. It's like I tell them all the time. You really need to read comics, and you will really see what Zack Snyder was doing with the character. Zack Snyder loves the character, and he 100% knows, you know, the character, and he knows what he was doing.
Yeah, that's what annoys everything. It's like this, like, dude, if you're gonna say Superman never killed, he did kill a Zod in the comic books, and he did kill,
I believe he broke his neck the
Doomsday.
same way. I believe it was a similar way. He broke his neck, something like that, in the comics.
Yeah,
Again, you know, you got the same people that, you know, that love the Richard Donner Superman, but then you have Superman 2 where he kills everybody. So it's like,
pretty much,
you know,
became a reckless moron.
it's just the bias. But again, you know, the difference with the Superman, it really shows you that he didn't really want to kill. That was his first time killing, and he didn't even agree with that. You know, you see him crying and screaming at the end of Man of Steel because he just kills, you know, his first person. You know, that was he don't want to do that. You know, he knows that's not the right thing.
Yeah. You see, okay, 1980 Superman 2 or Superman 2, the theatrical or the Donner cut, you be think he smiled killing, those Kryptonians.
Well, that's what people buy. And again, I mean, I don't know if you see, you know, like these articles of, you know, how Michael Keaton is coming back to play Batman, and you see all these people happy about that, but it's just the bias of like, I'm sorry, but '89 Batman was a freaking killer. You know, he was killing people. He was killing people like crazy in those movies, and nobody bitch about that. You know, but the moment Zack Snyder did it with Ben Affleck, oh no, you know, that's not Batman. That's the Punisher. Blah blah blah, and it's BS because they don't understand. At least when it comes to Batman v Superman, you know, Batman killing, there was a story behind that. There was a reason. It's not because he was just a straight up killer. He was doing that because he has, you know, he was in a long road. He lost himself, you know, and that's why he became a killer. But again, thanks to Superman, he's the one that's supposed to redeem, you know, Bruce Wayne to stop, you know, going back to not killing and all that stuff. Again, this whole thing supposed to be a connection to all this, but people just want to rush. They want everything. You know, they don't understand the definition when it comes to character development. They think they know, but they don't know the definition.
No, they still. I cannot even wait for the morons. Can't even wait for those. Bloggers and people say they want this, and apparently once they begged it, they did not support it. They just said,
"But that's what's been happening for
I don't want this.
That's what's been happening for years."
I mean, okay, like you said, nobody watched 2006 Superman Returns. that makes you want to say that. Okay,
That's your proof. That's the proof right there. That's the point. The point is these people want
Mhm.
Superman 78 because they think that will work. It doesn't work anymore. They already tried that. They tried that with 2 movies. They tried that with Superman Returns, and then they tried that BS with Justice League. The crap that they released. It didn't work, and that just happened in 2017. That was just 2 years ago. 2-3 years ago. It didn't work. So what makes it think that it's still gonna work now? Like, listen, this goes way back. Like Superman Returns was too dark when it came out, I guess, for some people, for some parents. So what did Warner Brothers do after that? They did Batman Forever and freaking Batman and Robin.
Mhm.
I what I remember, Batman Robin was a horrible movie, and they didn't make the money or nothing like that. Why? Because it doesn't work for the character. Again, Batman is not a kid's. It's not a character for kids. Period. His story alone, Batman is dark. Batman is a very dark character. He's not a Happy Meal. He's not a. He's not a character to sell toys and stuff like that. Of course, he's a well-known character. Like worldwide, but he's not a kid's character. He's not a kid superhero.
No,
And
he's
again, that falls back to many DC characters. DC is not really for kids when it comes to a lot of characters.
no. It's like none of these are for super children. They're not even rating a PG-13. They're just like rated for age for 17. But 13 is like what is the point of you're gonna make PG-13s when it's just not even gonna have like some dark moments and you're just not gonna state the points. And also, yeah, we had Batman, killed like a bunch of people. He made a guy starve to death, burned a guy, made a guy exploded, made a guy snapped his neck, choking him to death.
And that's
Like,
that's a good point. Like pretty much what you're saying. The way I'm taking your point of view, which is a great point of view, because that's the way people should see Batman. Even with the code that Batman's supposed to have, he's pretty much killing these people anyway, even with the code. Like, to be realistic, the way Batman beat up these bad guys, who really knows if they're gonna survive after going to the hospital? Because Batman, I'm not gonna kill you, but I'm gonna break your head. I'm gonna break your arm. I'm gonna break your leg. Normal human beings would, most of the times will not survive from that. So it's like, let's
no.
be realistic, and I believe that's what Zack Snyder was trying to say, at the SnyderCon, when he was saying people need to wake up, like if you really think Batman doesn't kill, you need to wake up and pretty much see the reality of it. Even with the code that Batman has, a lot of those people are not surviving. Let's be honest now. Let's play the game, play the Arkham series. The way you be messing those people up, most of them, I'm pretty sure they're not coming back.
None at all. And playing Arkham Knight using a Batmobile, I'm pretty sure they're all dead because we all ran them over.
That's another point. That's what I'm saying. That when it comes to, I think it's just the way they were trying to write Batman to make it kind of kids friendly. Because even in the comics, at the same time, it still doesn't really work. The code for Batman still doesn't really work because it's a biased thing when it comes to his code. Like, I don't use weapons, but my Batmobile, my Batwing and all that has weapons. So it's like, I don't understand. You're still using weapons on your vehicles. So you're saying he don't use weapons at all? Doesn't make any sense. So again, I think it's just the whole I think it's just the Batman code. People really take that in the wrong way. To be honest, because his code doesn't really work. The Batman's code is still broken.
Yeah, it is. And one thing, one thing, it's so funny. They always say that he does. Okay, remember there was one time that the Film Junkie podcast, they said, why is it not, it doesn't have a duck face and everything and they all complain like babies, they want to be the Batmobile to be a little less violent and be a little kid friendly. And one thing, he did have like weapons, and I thought everyone watched, Batman 1989 film, like he just dropped some, bombs.
On the factory.
He missiled everything.
Like when he used the Batmobile in '89, he goes to the factory where all the bad guys are, and he blows the whole factory up. So there goes like hundreds of people dead, And again, that's in comics too. So it goes back to the code for Batman. It doesn't really work. Like his code's freaking broken. Like, let's be honest now. The whole thing of not really using weapons is all BS. And again, that's all and that's what Snyder was, was saying, especially in Batman v Superman. How, let's put it this way. We all know, even though Superman and Batman, they become like best friends later on, we all know why, Superman never really agreed with Batman, because he knows Batman is kind of like too violent, on his point of view. And, if you read comics or you follow the animated movies and or shows, that. That's why, even though they are best friends, they never really agree with each other when it comes to the way they take, the way that they deal with bad guys. Because, the difference with Superman, he knows he can kill you with like, a punch or, so Superman really needs to be careful the way he takes his powers to take down an enemy. Batman is different because Batman is only human.
Yep.
And that was always the problem they always had, Again, even though they become best friends sooner or later, they never really agree when it comes to their action.
Yeah, that is 100% true, dude. I mean, if they all think, they all think it's going to be all, great if they had, casted. One thing is that if they all think, Batman's supposed to have some kind of like duck face and some kind of fins on the Batmobile, I'm like this. How's that supposed to be helpful against alien invasions or any kind of tanks people are going to have? I mean, it's just not going to work. And second of all, the Batmobile needs some weapons around.
The Batmobile is not a Batmobile with no weapons.
Some bombs.
Yeah. All the vehicles of the Batman has, there would not be a vehicle here, there would not be any of these vehicles if they don't have any weapon on it. That's what makes the character. It's just people that really talk out of their asses, like they really think they know these characters, and they don't really know the characters at all. It's crazy because it's like me talking about this more. It makes Batman v Superman even better, in that point of view of how much Zack Snyder really knows his characters. Because that was a lot of point of view, the point of view when it comes to Clark and Batman, even though Lex was the one kind of showing, that pretty much let him know about like how Batman really is and all that, but Clark took that the wrong way. Like, wait a minute, this Batman person is, he's too much the way he dealing with bad guys and all that stuff. So maybe I should take him, maybe I should look into it and maybe I should take him down. That's pretty much the Snyder, showing you that he knows these characters.
Yep. And one thing, dude, is that what's so funny is that they all think Jesse Eisenberg is too Riddler. He's not a too Riddler. He is exactly how Lex is supposed to be. I mean, Lex Luthor is
any person that will tell you that is any person that don't read comics. I will tell you that right now. I will tell you that right now. And I know because that was a thing since 2016 when Batman v Superman came out. That's not Lex. That's Riddler. And you are 100% wrong when you say that. If you actually read the comics of Lex Luthor, that is 100% Lex Luthor. That's the way he is. Lex Luthor is not really, he's a smart guy, but at the same time, he's freaking insane. And that's what Lex Luthor is supposed to be. His hate when it comes to Superman and all that, that was always a thing. It's like an envy type hate, because he would like to have those powers for himself. And again, you got to see that a lot in Smallville, and especially this Lex to me is the Lex from Birthright.
Yeah, and everyone thinks that he's not in Lex Luthor when, for starters, he did have all of that in Birthright. But yeah, it's like.
But and not even Birthright, because that's a new, it's not really that of a comic. But even all the way from the beginning, Lex had the orange long hair and all that stuff. It's like, again, these people think they know these characters without even reading comics. Read the comics before opening your mouth, because you don't, you're not looking bright when you do this. When you start running your mouth on the internet, like you really think you know these people, these characters, and you don't. And it's just insane, because that was I remember. So it's something that I don't like to remember. I don't like to remember, but like when Batman v Superman came out, and it started getting all these horrible reviews, and everybody started bashing the movie, I was just so confused at that point. Like, wait, like what's going on? How is this amazing movie is getting all these bad reviews and all that? I even had to at the time I had to join a movie group on Facebook to even talk about it, because there was so much I needed to talk about when it comes to the movie and all the reviews, and there was even a clash on that group, because a lot of them agree, and you still have people that didn't agree with the movie. But it's like it's a thing that when it comes to people that really know these characters and know comics, they know that the movie is honestly is a masterpiece, and that's the problem with that's the problem that we still have, that it's crazy that we still on 2020 we still gotta defend Batman v Superman, because people are still stuck. They never really it's how do you say it? It's ignorance, to say it in the right way to say all this is it's just pure ignorance. It's if you don't really understand Batman v Superman, it's because you don't really know these characters. You don't really know the stories behind these characters. And that movie came out back in 2016. So if you kind of felt some type of way, maybe you should have jumped into comics back then. And then for it to really open up your eyes and be like, holy crap, now I get it. And now I know what Zack Snyder was doing. And now I understand that I really understand these characters. Because we all know by now, all these bloggers and critics and all that, they don't know shit about comics. And that's why they went after Batman v Superman. Besides having an agenda, because we all know there was a weird behind the scenes going on when it came to many of these reviews for this movie. But that's just something else to talk about.
Yeah, not to mention that it makes you think about the reason why the Birds of Prey, Shazam, what else? Shazam. All those films got great reviews is because they all think they got people an X for comic books, but in reality they don't have. They're not even experts. They just think
Birds of Prey. What the F that movie has to do with Birds of Prey? Nothing at all. That movie is not about Birds of Prey at all. Like, listen, you love the movie or hate, you can love the movie if you want. That's fine. But that movie has nothing to do with Birds of Prey. I don't even get why that has the title.
Harley Quinn did not found, Birds of Prey, and it doesn't have Batgirl.
You have exactly. You have a Birds of Prey movie without Batgirl, without even a tease of the Batcave, or or Oracle, or there's so many things you could have at least had a cameo in that movie with many other characters. But that Birds of Prey movie, again, it's like what we said before. Gotham is not even Gotham in that movie. Like, I don't even understand what the hell I was watching. It doesn't really. Movie didn't really make no sense to me.
No, man, it just felt like it was jumbled all over, and it felt like a mess.
That movie was like a filler. That movie was just like it's like an extra episode. When you're watching a show, and it's one of those episodes that it doesn't even really, you don't really need it. That was the same. That was the same thing with Shazam. To me, I don't care, but I don't really think that Shazam was probably never part of the Snyderverse. I don't think that I know of. I don't know if do you think Snyder would have ever had a plan for Shazam?
I think it was the original slate, but I don't know. He wouldn't.
Because I don't really see it. I don't really see. I mean, maybe if it was a different take to Shazam, Because I mean, it is badass to bring in Black Adam in this universe, but I just hope they do it right, because with the Shazam that we have right now, I don't see that really working well, to be honest.
Yeah, man, it's like Shazam is just a roller coaster there.
And don't get me wrong, because I mean, I would love to see Superman and Shazam versus Black Adam, but that's Shazam that we got. I don't really see it. Maybe it was a different actor and all that. That's why when it comes to all that whole tease, I'm still curious about Black Adam. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I'm just here to see Zack Snyder Justice League and see where is that gonna go. Where is that gonna take us?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man, I think that should be. I don't think there's any more topics. Anything else that we missed from this? That was just the multiverse, right? The Green Lantern, Batman 89.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for today.
For now, but every time we make a video, something comes out.
Yeah.
So we'll see in about an hour to see what's gonna happen now. Now that I made this video. But all right, man. Thank you for showing up again. So maybe next week, nothing. I mean, it depends on the news, because again, we got Justice Con, literally a month away now.
Yeah, man, it is a month.
So anything can drop before that. To be honest, that's one thing I want to say too, though. I really hope all these stories that are coming out for DC, I hope some of them are not true, because I just hope people are not really spoiling all this stuff. Like we're 2 months away for the DC fandom. Why can't we wait 2 more months?
I don't.
I want to see.
The truth, they all want to do it.
It's crazy because when it comes to a con and all that, that's why you want to watch it, to be surprised. I don't want to be watching it and then be like, we already knew all this. But all right, man. Probably see you in a couple days to make another video. And now we should just probably head out to Twitter and see what's going on. All right, man.
Yep. Crazy shit happens.
All right, man. Take care.
You too.